Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make char from several different natural materials and also find out which of those materials takes a spark best. Here I just have some fungi that I found in my woods that I'm going to be using to make some char out of today. There are all sorts of fungi that you can use to make char. Personally my favorite is horseshoe fungus, but I couldn't find any, so we're just going to use some other types of fungi. Here I just have some cattail seed hairs that I'm going to use to make char out of. They're really dry and they're already great for using as a tinder, but they're also good char materials. I also have with me some punky wood, which is a great natural resource for making char out of. A lot of people do this, and I've heard maple is the best type of punky wood to make char out of, but today I just have some oak punk wood, so we'll see how that works. I also just have some basic twine string for making some char out of. I've never tried this, but I hear a lot of people do it, so we'll give it a go. I also have with me some dead grass, really very dry, already takes the spark really well, but I have some dead grass to make char out of too. I also have with me some pine needles that I just collected from a sapling pine tree, and we will see how that works to make char with as well. Lastly, you're going to need some tins to char your material in. I'm just using your basic Altoids can, something that can shut and be completely closed and not let any air, or really no air at all, get into it. And that's what you're going to want for a char tin. Here's an old one I used and already made char from some horseshoe fungus. So yeah, you can use Altoids tin or an old shoe polish tin, or you can find tins online or just anything at the store, but anything that closes will work great. So the first thing I'm going to char is some of the punky wood. So as you can tell, it's very, very punky. So you just take that and stuff it nice and full. Just like that. Close it up, and it's ready to pop in the fire. So I'm just going to eyeball how long it's going to be in there for, but you don't want the lid to pop off because of the heat or anything like that. You really want to make sure the contents don't have any oxygen exposed to them as they're charring. And I'm just going to eyeball for how long it needs to be in there. And it's gonna differ depending on your material and the heat of your fire and your metal tin. So just let that sit in there for a little while. Okay, so as we're waiting for the other tin to cool down, I'll go ahead and prepare the tin for the cattail seed hairs. Just like that, really fluffy. Feels amazing. Take it, and because this is such a light and flammable and just fibrous material, it's not going to take long at all to char, so you want to be really aware of that. You don't want to overchar your materials. Close it up really well. So there are the cattail seed hairs charring. I'll leave it in there for probably only about 2 minutes or so. Okay, so here's the punk wood, and we'll give it a go with ferrocerium rod. goes. So here's our can of cattail seed hairs, charred, and that looks very interesting. It's just kind of like a sponge almost. Give it a go with the ferrocerium rod. Yep. Next I'm going to give the twine a go, just a nice long strand. Just like the cattail hairs, that'll only probably be in the fire for a minute or two. Next I have the two types of fungi. So the first type is just similar to horseshoe bracket. Not sure if it actually is. It's got a harder top and it's a bit harder all throughout. So I have two pieces of that. Pop that in, and then the next type is a much more spongy type of fungi. So I actually had to cut this piece with scissors, so spongy. And it's pretty moist as well, so it'll be interesting to see how this piece chars. Again, we'll just test how quick it takes to... Yeah, right away. So the twine is very similar in the cattail seed hairs in that it catches a spark very quickly, but it also kind of runs quickly. Runs out of life quickly too. So here are our charred fungi, and both look like they charred pretty well. Nice and crispy. There that one goes. Oh, this one caught a little bit too. So, for these two, it took about 6 or so tries. There we go. So this one took a little bit longer, but it did eventually catch. One thing about fungi that I really like is, you know, they'll just keep on kind of charring and staying hot for as long as there's still materials there and as long as there's oxygen. So fungi, charred fungi are really good for if you need to like transfer your campfire. You can just grab one of them and take it to your next campsite spot and then use it to start a fire, and you know they'll last for a while. As you can see, they're still going. So I would definitely say that charred fungi are my favorite type of fungi to use and keep on hand, just because they catch so easily and they last for a really long time. Okay, so here is the charred tin of dead grass. Really finely charred. Great job on the fire's part. Okay, so what seems to be going on here is it catches the spark, but then dies right out. Okay, so here's the charred pine needles. That's actually really cool. So we'll give that a go. Okay, so I'd say the pine needles are very similar to the dead grass in that you see a little ember, but then it just dies right out. So here's a piece of denim blue jeans. Put that in there. Only a couple folds is really all you need. Close it nice and tight and you're good to go. Okay, so here we have the denim char cloth. So that's pretty cool. You can kind of watch as the ember kind of creeps along the fibers. So in conclusion, out of the 8 or so materials that we charred today, I'd have to say my top 3 favorites would be the denim jeans and the fungi and probably the punky wood. Of course, you can pick your favorite charred materials and try this out for yourself at home and figure out which charred material is best for your needs. But charred materials are definitely handy to have if you're doing some bushcraft or going on a camping trip or whatever, just because if you use a ferrocerium rod a lot like me, it's really handy just to have so you can catch a spark and then have an ember for a while and use that to catch your tinder on fire. So thanks for watching, and if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.